Hello everybody, and welcome to another live stream on the Nitsuj Nobel Twitch channel. My name is Nitsuj, and today we are actually starting off with a discussion of the news, which you might find a little bit surprising. So, we are actually discussing the article Forbes has recently put out about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but I certainly have. It came across my morning feed. So, we are going to be talking about that. So, let's get right into it. No, we're not talking about any of those. So, new Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay sounds great, but looks bad. Now, the photo they've got for this is like a really nice shot of the game. I'm not sure if it's quite coming across, but so they've got a really bad shot of the game that I think their compression has made worse. This is not what it looked like in the trailer that I watched and reacted to yesterday. It looked just like Breath of the Wild did and does. So, to me, this is not the hallmark of a bad-looking game. So if we return back over to the article, well, the footage of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sounds incredible based on the scope of the game and the breadth of new mechanics shown off in the 10-minute footage today, being yesterday. Tears of the Kingdom certainly does not look incredible based on what was shown. Now, this, I feel I should point out, is what was shown. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. Here, can I open link in new tab? There we go. I'm gonna throw this up here. So, this is what the footage looked like, right? This is, I think, incredibly good looking for the Switch. It looks like Breath of the Wild did. You know, it to me looks like a good game. And we've got Link moving around and stuff like that. And what it's capable of doing is actually really impressive. Like, if we skip to where he does the dive, which is somewhere around... Okay, here. So, look at this, right? He's up here on these sky islands, right? And this guy with a fan comes, knocks him off, right? And the entire map is still loaded in. And as you get closer, other things load in. Like, also there's a big Zonai carving there, kind of like the Nazca lines, which I've just noticed. I haven't watched anyone's breakdown of these. I'm going to be making my own breakdown stream thing. But, like, look at that. Look at that. It's loading in assets. Stupid quick, because he's descending at a wicked rate. And the game is not lagging, despite having to load in all of these assets that would normally be flat 2D images, like... Think about it. The Breath of the Wild engine was designed for you to, at most, be going as fast as the fastest horse, right? So it's designed to load at that speed. You're moving well faster than that in the falls based on the look of things and how close you get to the ground. Like, that to me is an impressive game. Now, is it, a graphical masterpiece like some games? No. But it's clearly no slouch when it comes to being good looking. Alright, so that's what they're talking about, alright? So, I'm talking about how the game literally looks, its visual fidelity, and while Breath of the Wild was held up as an example back in 2017 as a game that utilizes the Switch's minimal horsepower to decent effect through stylized design, that was 6 years ago, and it's hold the same view of Tears of the Kingdom today. Oh, that's no problem, Implord. Forbes put out an article about Tears of the Kingdom, so we're going through that, because they say it doesn't look all that good. So that's what we're up to. And I think it's hard to agree with them, or at least it's hard for me to agree with them. Firstly, have you seen the games that I have played on Switch and the games that have come out lately on Switch? Like, I think if I pull up top 10 most recent Switch games. Actually, I'm just going to type in 10 most recent Switch games. Alright, so let's look at the... So, I'm going to assume these are all the most recent 10 Switch games. Alright, so, you've got... well, we've got the Dead Cells. We're going to just stick to games that I've played, so... Okay, Dead Cells is not a particularly high-fidelity game. It's, an old-school-style RPG. Okay. Well, so that's something that Breath of the Wild is competing with for graphical fidelity. Right? Now, I love that retro art style, but, Breath of the Wild does have a really nice art style as well. It's competing with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, dear Lord, I hope most of you know, while I really love the game and will defend it, is not the best looker. It just isn't. It's competing with Metroid Prime Remastered, which looks like a Wii U game, at best. Now, I love Metroid. I love Metroid Prime. I'm not trying to discriminate on these games based on the way they look, right? But, there we go. These are their most recent releases and the ones that I can actually compare it to, right? And these are not high horsepower visual masterpieces. And so I think Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, is in fairly decent company in being not the uber-menschest best looker. It uses the Switch's hardware really effectively, though. Based on the gameplay footage. So, it's true that Tears of the Kingdom certainly looks better than some of other Switch exclusives in this footage. Namely, recently Pokemon games, which are eye-gougingly terrible. Now, that's also not something I agree with. They don't look terrible. They look like a Wii game, which Wii games looked fine, But I do think we've long passed a line where the Switch's ancient hardware, which was dated when it debuted, is now actively detracting from its games, and we badly need to see a true hardware update. If it's not a fully new console at this point, rumors abound that it's coming in the next year or two, but Nintendo have revealed nothing. So this is the footage we get. Now, I'm going to ask you all, alright, we've got 2 people in chat. Did the Tears of the Kingdom trailer look bad? Did it look awful? Did it look like something on a dated system? Alright? Now, I'm not going to defend the Switch for being dated. It is, Its hardware was old when it came out, but is the Switch itself, or did the gameplay itself look like it was on a dated system? Or could you see yourself playing that on the new Xbox, on the new PlayStation? Because there's the question. If you can see yourself playing that on the new Xbox, the new PlayStation, the hardware isn't the problem for the graphics. You just don't like the stylization. And it's a really clever way that they've managed to keep the entire world loaded in, the same way Pokemon Scarlet and Violet tried to, without having to just do massive amounts of culling because they were really efficient when building it. And I think they've kept the same thing here based on the way it looks when he falls off the island. Alright, and so he continues. Yes, I do understand the argument that that Nintendo is in a league of its own, where visuals almost don't matter. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that the visual design of a game is an important aspect, but it's not the fidelity that matters. Its games are mega hits regardless. The Switch is crushing its console competition in terms of sales, right? That's true as well. And yet, I constantly find myself attempting to make the simple case of, okay, but what if they had all these great games and they didn't look a decade old? Dude! Article writer! Forbes! These games don't look a decade old. They couldn't look a decade old. This would be like saying, when the SNES came out, that the NES looks 30 years old. Look at what we had a decade ago, all right? We just had the launch of the Wii, all right? We had the launch of the PS4 and the Xbox One, right? Wii games did not look this good. Not even Breath of the Wild on the Wii looked this good. Now, maybe he's comparing to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Maybe. But, those are systems that are consoles. They have uber powerful graphics. The Nintendo Switch is functionally a portable system. It is throttled by that, right? It cannot progress past that unless it gets a full upgrade or a full redesign to be a stay-at-home system, or at least a serious power upgrade in whatever the next system is. You can see it in the Tears footage, which, despite its valiant attempt to continue to use Breath of the Wild stylings, just looks exceptionally dated with everything from modeling to textures to draw distance. Draw distance! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I not show this? Did I not just show this? Where, see where it is here? Where Link just gets absolutely yeeted around by this thing with, as Implord said last time, a pizza thing. I forgot what he said for it. And look at this! Look at this! The ground is already loaded in. You can see, things already on the ground, like the big Zonai Nazca lines, You can see far off little islands. You can see a giant... There's a giant floating cube. What the fuck? Okay. Well, that's going to be something I'm going to have to visit, right? And you're already seeing trees popping in the ground, and Link still has a ways to go to get to the water. This is a game that has a good draw distance. I don't know what they were smoking to decide this had a bad draw distance. Just absolutely beyond me, right? I do not know what they were smoking. But frankly, I want absolutely none of it because it apparently makes one incapable of understanding what one is seeing. If there have been visual improvements made since 2017, I'm not sure I saw any in this footage. Dude! There aren't a huge lot, but my lord! It still looks good. Breath of the Wild still looks good. If I had an Xbox and Breath of the Wild came out today, I'd go, holy shit, a really cool looking RPG. Even if it wasn't attached to the Zelda IP, and probably play the hell out of it just like I did with Breath of the Wild. Because it looked good. I'm not sure the current Switch is capable of any. It is. I think they made a few. Not a huge amount, but it didn't need that. Breath of the Wild still looks screaming good. I have not had it so much as stutter on me. I'll repeat that again. I've not so much as had the game stutter on me, where it goes, oh, we just need a second to load some stuff in, so we're going to freeze the game up just a wee bit. I've not so much have had it do that on me. So whatever they've done, they've made it look brilliant while doing things that most games can't do. Most games stutter to some extent. Hell, I've had Dead Cells stutter, and it's not a particularly visually difficult game to render, because there's no 3D models. You just put sprites on sprites on sprites. The SNES could do it. Some studios work magic on the Switch better than others, but the older the system gets, the harder this becomes to ignore. Even with games that are destined to be incredible through their gameplay alone, yes, you can argue visuals don't matter as much when it comes to Nintendo hits. I'm of the opinion that visuals are one of the least important things. For me, so long as a game feels good to play, I will be happy playing it, But man, wouldn't it be nice if they were just a lot better than this? Okay, I have seen games like Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation and Xbox, and like I'm not talking Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I'm talking I have seen in person with my own eyes people playing Horizon Zero Dawn on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Right? It does not look significantly better than Breath of the Wild. My goodness, Paul. And yes, the guy who wrote it is a Paul. Right? Right? Like, seriously. How blind must you be? Like, you've written about video games, television, and movies for Forbes for over 10 years. Video games for over 10 years, meaning he must remember when Tears of the Kingdom, or when Breath of the Wild came out. He must remember when the Wii U came out. He must remember what games on the Wii U looked like. He must remember what games on the PlayStation 4 looked like, and games that came out on the Xbox One looked like. Alright? Breath of the Wild is still a good looking game. Like, I have seen people play modern games. They don't look hugely better. Games are reaching a point where, unless you have screeching fast hardware, like, I'm not talking just top of the line, but tippy top of the Uber OP line, like the highest echelon of a line you can be in, it's not going to look much better anymore these days. Like, that's what it takes to make a game that looks good these days. And my gosh, they're like, oh, but it could be better. It's like, no, it really couldn't. Not on the Wii, or not on the Nintendo Switch, but like, maybe it wouldn't have looked any better on the Xbox One. Maybe they would have just programmed it a little bit less efficiently. Because that's what people do, is they make the game look the way they want to, and then figure out how to optimize, which sometimes means cutting stuff out, sometimes doesn't. Mein Gott, Paul. What is wrong with your eyeballs? How have you not seen that this game looks flipping awesome? Like, I don't know about you. I don't know. But Tears of the Kingdom, certainly, to me, does not seem like it took any graphical hit for having done, like, all that it did. Like, all that it did. All that it did. You know, all that it's doing, I should say. It hasn't come out yet, so we don't actually know. But for all that it looks like, it looks like it's going to be a wicked awesome game. Like, just absolutely wicked awesome. I don't know about you, but it seems like this is a frankly bad take. So, where do we go from this? Well, hopefully at some point we will be having a guest joining us, specifically Toby. Oh, I know. I'm saying that, like, Tears of the Kingdom, like, it looked good. And, like, if you looked at the games that were out on the Wii, right? Like, Skyward Sword versus Tears of the Kingdom, or even just Breath of the Wild, there is a massive fidelity difference. They don't look comparable, in my opinion. Anyway, in none too long, Toby will be hopefully joining us. So, we will occupy ourselves with a little bit more news. So, yes, I think Toby might be joining us. So, Yes, Toby may be joining us. So, while we wait, I wanted to talk about another article as well. Let me see if I can remember this article here. All right.